Back in October 2025, Figma purchased Weave. Today, it's called Figma Weave. It's not yet fully incorporated into Figma, but you can use Figma to log into it. So let's have a look at what it does and how we can use it. Let's jump in. First of all, what even is Figma Weave or Weave AI? It's a platform that brings generative AI and professional editing tools into an open canvas. It allows you to use nodes to create a whole AI workflow, and it has all of the image generation, video generation, and LLMs that we are familiar with all in one tool. When you first open Weave, you get this kind of page, and then we can create a new file just here at the top. Once you do that, you see it's sort of this infinite canvas. The first time you open this, it does take you a bit of a tutorial on how to move around the canvas and stuff like that. But open canvas, and on the left we've got this sort of panel. Now this panel is essentially just like one long panel. You see if I click on image, it does just jump me down inside of here, but these are all of the models that we can create. So let's start by doing the most basic thing, which is creating a text prompt that creates an image for us. Now we have two ways to add in a new node. On the left, we can just drag it into here, or if we right click anywhere on the canvas, we get this menu where we can select something from here. But I've got my text prompt in here. Now I'm gonna do the first very basic thing, which is ask it to create an image. So let me give it a prompt for that image. So I've asked it to create a chibi shield maiden in shiny armor, standing confidently with a sword raised, facing forward in pixel art style, 16-bit retro game aesthetic, clean solid background. And now I need to actually make this happen. So in order to do that, I need to add an image node. So if I right click and I can see image models here, and then I've got options. So it's either generate from text, generate from vector graphics, generate from another image, enhance an image. I'm gonna go for generate from text, and then look at this, okay? I've got so many options just in one tool, which is really, really cool. I have no clue what to choose. What you can also do is if you go into the left panel, let's say image models here, then I click on search, it can allow me to filter them or order them, let's say by low to high. And that is, of course, how much they actually cost in terms of the credits. So I want from text input to image output, and then sorted by price. I'll go all the way to the top. So it says that fluxed fast is the best one. So I'll just drop that in here. Once you're selecting one of these nodes, you'll see on the right hand panel, you've got some options as well that you can use. And by the way, if I hover over any one of these, it will tell me how many credits it's going to use. So 0.4 credits. Yeah, that is pretty cheap. So I can see here, this is the aspect ratio, how much guidance do I want? And if I hover over, it tells me what that actually means, how much randomness, and what is the output format. Now I do need to connect both of these, so I'll just drag this sort of noodle between the two prompts and run model. And let's see what happens. Now this one is flux fast, so it is pretty fast. Boom, done. So it kind of listened to instructions and kind of did it, but it created it, which is super, super cool. Now, what I can also do, if I go into here and I can say how many times I want it to run, let's say I want it to run 3 times. I'm going to do that again. So it will create the same thing 3 times, and it will give me basically options. So you see how at the top I've got 1, 2, and 3, and they're all very different. Now this is cool, but it's not very different to any other tool that we know how to use, apart from the fact that we got all of the options for all of the different models to use at once. Now let me show you how we can create a complex flow in here that then takes this image and makes it into a video, for example. Now I have changed it to a slightly better image creation model, just so I get a slightly better character. I really like her, she's cute. But now let's add some more things in. So first of all, let me add a text prompt. And I'm going to paste my prompt that I'm going to give it into here. I'm going to ask it, chibi character jumping into a victory pose, pumping their shiny armor in the air triumphantly, bouncy motion, 16-bit retro game feel. So this is what I want it to do for the video. And again, we know the drill. We can't just have a text prompt. We need to have a video node as well. So for this, let me look over here. We've got video, and this is generate from image or text. And we've got so many options in here. What I actually did is I actually went into Claude and I asked it which video model is best for this. And it suggested that I use Sora 2 for the best results. So let's use that one. Right click, video models, generate from text or image, Sora 2. And it's telling me here, it's a bit spenny, but I'll do it for you guys. So for this, you can see that I have 2 things that I need to bring in here. I need a text prompt, and then I also need to give it the first frame. Then if we look here on the right, it's asking me which model I want to use, what's the duration of the video and what's the resolution. Make sure you are actually clicking on your nodes and seeing what are the options here just to get the best results. So I'm happy with this for now. Let's run it. While it's working, you will notice that I've got two run models on here. I have this run model and I had this run model. Currently, there isn't a way to run all the models at once, so it can't just like go through the full workflow. You do have to set them off one at a time. At the start, I was a bit like, that's a bit annoying, but actually it does make sense because if what this produced isn't great or isn't exactly what you were looking for, you're not going to want it to go through the full flow and waste all your credits. You're going to want to use this incremental kind of setting, but this workflow is still great because it's dynamic and it's reusable. So I can keep using this for different things by changing the original prompt, and then the rest of the workflow can keep going as is. So let's see what it did. Oh, I already see it smushed her a little bit, poor girl, but let's play it. That is so cute. So it made her jump in the air, land in the victorious pose, exactly what I asked it to do, and added that cute little confetti at the end. Maybe it was the resolution that made it squish her a little bit, but it's fine. How cool. Now, that was really great, but let me show you how we can make this even more reusable for us in a more dynamic workflow. So let's say I need to create multiples of this character. So in the first prompt, I kind of told it shield maiden, shiny armor with a sword. What if I now need a wizard with purple robes and with a wand? So I'm gonna have to rewrite this whole thing. But we can make it easier for ourselves. Instead of using just a simple word in here, I can use a variable. So I'll click here and say add variable, and then it says none, which is fine. My second variable is going to be the clothing, shiny armor, and then the third one is going to be what they have raised. So over here, I'll just delete this, delete that, and delete sword raised. Great. Now I'll add another prompt in here just for text, and I'm going to rename it with character, and then I'll add another one here, rename that one as clothes, and one more over here, and I will rename this one as object. Now I'm going to feed each one of these into the right variable. So this one will feed variable 1, this one will feed variable 2, and this one will feed variable 3. So let's say next one is wizard with purple robes, and I want them to have a magic wand. Now you'll notice that it kind of changes as it goes. It doesn't have to. In here in the display, you can decide it just shows the value. So it just shows what those variables are, still with the purple around them so we know they're a variable, or it just shows the source. So this is variable 1, 2, 3, or it can show both. If you're not familiar with variables, in this instance, think of them a bit like a Mad Lib. Where in here it's just like insert noun, insert adjective, right? And then you have them connected over here. Maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Anyway, so that's one way. There are many other ways you can do this, but this is one way to make it like an easy, accessible, reusable thing. So then I can just change the things in here instead of having to find them within the text box. Before I run this, I just want to show you one more thing. I can also add in reference images. So I've just pulled in an image I have on my computer of a pixel art background, and I'm going to ask it to use the reference image for the background. And you can see that in here I have the option to add in an image as an input as well. So I'll just connect those two nodes, and it kind of follows a pattern with the colors as well. So pink will be for text, green will be for images, and then videos will be this sort of orange color. Notice something that in here I say pumping their sword, so I do need to change the object in here as well. So instead of sword, I will add in a variable and I'll connect the object to here as well. So then that stays dynamic throughout. All right, let's see it in action. I'm gonna run the image model. While it's running, by the way, there's a drop down on the top right where you can click on it, and then it tells you how far along it is in the process, and you can cancel in the middle if you want. It doesn't tell you how long it took, which is interesting. I have seen most other AI tools out there let you know this took however long to produce, but this one doesn't. Good or bad? Indifferent. Oh my God, look at that. So how cute. And it also placed her inside of the image, guys. I love her. Now let's see what happens when I run this video. And by the way, I don't lose what I had before, so I can just toggle between them here. And then there's also a gallery view if you need that. Oh, I love her, she's so cute. Also, it made her a female wizard. So it produced it, I'm so excited. Let's have a look. I love her. This is so cute. Okay, so I love that I'm excited by my own prompts. So that was amazing, right? And it was super quick. This took about 2 minutes to produce this, maybe a little bit less. And we've got this workflow now. So let's say you need to create multiples of these characters. You can just go in here and change the character, the clothes, and object, and just keep generating them. You can also download these. So if I click on the 3 dots over here, you can see I can download current or download all of them. I can also remove the current generation or any other ones if I want to. And I can also unpack, which basically splits them out so I can see all of them in kind of at the same time, which means that now if I want to take this one somewhere and I want to take that one somewhere, I can, and they're not like just compacted within this one node. Super cool. So that's that for today, short and sweet. Just wanted to show you this cool new AI workflow tool. I guess it's not very new, it's new to me. Let me know in the comments below if you want to learn more about this. I'm definitely getting excited about it and very excited to see how it is going to be incorporated into Figma moving forward. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and see you at the next one.